All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And just for clarification, can you please just give me a quick hand raise if you can see my screen? Quick hand raise. I want to make sure you can see my screen. Please raise hand. Okay. All right. Great, great, great. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about massively profitable webinars. My name is Ray Higdon. I'm excited to bring this to you. I'm excited to really just have some fun with you guys. You know, and there's a lot of reasons why I really like webinars, and I don't see really anybody teach it. And in fact, I see most companies, they don't teach it at all. Most network marketing companies don't teach it at all. Most trainers don't teach it. They either assume that you can figure it out or assume that you already know it. And so I am actually going to show you how to set up, very basic webinar, but I'm also going to give you some tips, some tactics, some strategies that, if followed, you will greatly increase your profit in your webinars. So, last 2.5 years, a lot of you on here, you know my story, okay? But I always share this, and this is a training for you too. When you are running webinars, if you have results, and I'm even going to teach the people on here what to say if you don't have results. But if you have results, you do want to share them. And so over the last 2.5 years, some of the different accolades, some of the different things that I've been able to do have been, awesome. If you would have told me this 2.5 years ago, I just wouldn't have believed you. And this is something that the neat thing about this is, at one point in my life, I was absolutely terrified of public speaking. I was terrible at sales. I was horrible, absolutely horrible on the computer. And so I am not naturally gifted in speaking. I'm not naturally gifted in technology. Wasn't natural at sales. I have learned a lot and I have studied a lot, and I constantly study. Every single day I'm studying something. And, and I'll share that a little bit of that with you. But, the whole point of showing you this is, none of it really would have happened without knowing how to present and run events and webinars. And so tonight, I'm not going to talk about public speaking. I'm not going to talk about running a physical event, but I am going to teach you how to run webinars. I'm going to teach you how to set it up, and I'm going to teach you, how to make them profitable. So tonight, I really have two focuses. Number one, how to run successful webinars for your network marketing business to explode your recruiting and your team. Now, I have yet, and I've done a lot of searching, I have yet to see anybody tackle that right there. Never. Now, I've seen people talk about my second focus, how to sell information products, how to sell training, things of that nature. I've never seen someone actually cover how someone should run a network marketing webinar. Okay? How you should run it. And I've ran a million of them, and I can tell you from watching the numbers, from watching the statistics, from hearing the feedback, sometimes, and here's an interesting little thing. Sometimes you're going to have a webinar that your teammates won't think is that great, but it may be one of your best webinars you've ever ran as far as recruiting. And I'm going to talk about that. Some of this, when you're talking about a team, what does the team want to hear? Well, the team wants to hear about the product because they already love the product. The team wants to hear about the comp plan because they already love the comp plan. But your prospects, they don't care. They don't care about your product. They don't care about your comp plan. That's why I chuckle when 2 to 10 times a day I have someone email me, hey, you got to check this out. It's the most unbelievable compensation plan of all time. It's this and this and that. People don't care. They don't care about that. But nobody teaches it. No one teaches you how to successfully run network marketing webinars. Now, the second focus is what I suspect a lot of you came on here for, is how to run and promote webinars to sell training products, recordings, coaching, etc. And I'll talk about that. Absolutely, we'll talk about that. But here's my guarantee. I guarantee you this. You'll learn more in this webinar than if you bought every single book in existence on the subject. Now, why is that? How can I possibly say that? Because I've bought them all. I have bought anything that talks about running webinars or, selling online through presentations or anything like that. I've read all of them. And they don't teach you in a practical manner, at least from what I've seen. Now, if you've read a book and it blew you away on how to run webinars, please share it with me. Shoot me an email, type it. Actually, I would prefer an email. Shoot me an email because I will buy it in a heartbeat and I would love to read it. Because most of the stuff that I see, it is either way too generic and leaves out all the selling. It may tell you how to click here, click here, click here, that anyone that could follow a YouTube could figure out, but it doesn't tell you how to sell. It doesn't tell you how to get teammates, get new prospects on board, joining your company, etc. So that's what we're going to talk about. So why webinars? Well, number one, it's a true home business. And this is interesting. My first network marketing company, I asked them, what are the things I should be doing? And they said, recruiting. I mean, seriously, that was their answer. You should be recruiting. I'm like, okay, I should be recruiting. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I would, that, okay. And and then they said, and you should be doing home meetings. I'm like, okay, all right, that's a little bit more direction. I should be doing home meetings. Okay. And so my first, and I'm somebody, I'm like a, I don't know, OCD or something. I'm obsessive, right? And when I get into something, I get into it. Okay. I don't flounder a whole lot. I don't, I'm either doing something or I'm not doing something. And I've gotten really good at that here in the last few years. Years ago, I would try to dip my toe in the water of 50 different things. And lately, I've just gotten a lot better at really focus, okay? So, in that first network marketing company, they told me to do home meetings. So I did. 6 days a week. I would do 6 nights a week, should I say. I was doing a home meeting. So, here I was doing these home meetings, leaving the house. Did 2 lunch meetings, a week, leaving the house. So, here I am building a home-based business, and I'm never at home. Raise your hand if you can resonate with that, if you understand what I'm talking about, right? And so, it's something that one thing that I really like about webinars is right now I'm actually, because we have a Maltese and he's, Baxter, he's the Bax man, he's very loud. He hears a noise outside, he turns into a bulldog. He thinks he's a pit bull, right? But he's 4.9 pounds of toughness. And so I'm actually sitting in my youngest son's bedroom, right, recording this. I'm at home. When I finish, I'm going to stop and I'm going to go join, my wife and she may have something funny on TV or something. I don't know. Or she may be reading. I'm not sure what she's doing right now. But it's a home business. And so it gives you some leverage. It gives you, if you can do more webinars each and every week, you are essentially spending more time at home. You are. And so I do like that aspect. You can do multiple a day. Right now, the network marketing company that I'm involved in, we just launched in Australia, right? And so now I can have webinars in the extremely early morning and accommodate them if I wanted to. I could run them at different times for the United Kingdom. I could run them at different times for California as well as Eastern. So without spending one dime in gas or petro, or depending on where you're watching this from, I can have multiple webinars all sitting at my house. Very powerful. Could also do some trainings, okay? Very, very low setup cost. Now, people hear that and they think, well, Ray, and I'm going to give you a secret here too. They say, well, Ray, GoToMeeting is expensive. Well, you're using GoToMeeting right now. That's kind of expensive. Well, let me give you a trick with GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting, if you sign up for the initial, and you may want to write this down, okay? Because this is a pretty cool thing. And the reason I know it is because I way overspent for almost a year. And so GoToMeeting, you can sign up for a trial. Okay, I think it's 21 days or 14 days or something like that, whatever, right? And in this trial, if you do decide to upgrade, it is, it's like really expensive. It's like $300 to $400 a month. And in fact, when I first joined GoToMeeting, which was I think it was back in 2000, maybe 9, it was $400 a month. And that was back when $400 a month, hey, that stung. I mean, $400 a month sucks, anyway. Here's the trick. With GoToMeeting, if you call them, if you get them on the phone, they will honor the $99 a month rate. They will. I've done it myself. Okay, I switched from $400 a month to $99 a month, and I've seen a lot of people do that too. And so that's a little tip. There you go. If you use it, I just saved you $3,600 a year. You're welcome on a $29 webinar, right? So cool. And so, but let me share with you the difference. I ran a mastermind event about 3 weeks ago. It was a physical event. Okay. There I paid, let's see, I got a pretty good deal on it. It was about $400 a day for the room. It was $400 on Saturday. It was $400 on Sunday. Then I had coffee and water. That was a total. We kind of had a mishap there and I overpaid, but that was about $600. Okay, so now we're at $1,400. Then they didn't have enough tablecloths, which is kind of stupid, but I had to go out and buy tablecloths. That's another $50. Okay, I actually did buy shirts. That's an optional expense. It was about $900. Okay, so now we're talking this physical event, thousands of dollars. GoToMeeting, $99 a month. All right, so that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying extremely low setup cost. Rejection's much easier than in person. Guess what? If someone doesn't like what you're talking about, they click away, you barely notice. You barely even notice. It's funny, right? But when you're starting off, and you'll find that this entire presentation is for the person that is newer, is for the person that's starting off, that maybe hasn't done a lot of webinars, etc. But I can tell you from being on a lot of webinars, there's a lot of people that need this training. There really are. So, stick around. If you have experience, if you don't have experience, stick around. You don't have any snacks to buy, no wine, no crackers, no hummus, no chips, no dip. You don't have any of that stuff, no cleanup, no, let me light all the candles so the house smells nice. None of that stuff. No, do you just shave or shower? I actually did just shower, just so you know, but I didn't shave. I have a stubble right now. If I was in person, you would, question my, my, I don't know, attitude. I don't know. I didn't shave, but I did shower. I can guarantee you that. It's also a lot cheaper and easier to record and use later. You can use this as a bonus or training. Okay, pretty cool. You're going to hear me over and over and over say that you need to record every single thing that you do. And we'll talk about why, because I said that before and people didn't understand what I was saying. And so I'm going to share with you why you should do that. But it is cheaper and easier. You could, if you look at, setting up the tripod, setting up a camera, most of you probably have a digital camera. But it's a lot easier. Just do a screen capture like what I'm doing right now. So do they replace home meetings? Well, Ray, are you saying that webinars are superior to home meetings? Is that what you're saying? I don't think anything will ever totally replace home meetings. Okay, I believe home meetings is the greatest builder of communities. They really are. Duplicatable. Everyone has a home, and I love home meetings. We did one last night, and so in listening and hearing me talk about webinars, don't think I'm saying do this because home meetings no good. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. Build the strongest community. However, okay, and I remember my first experience can be costly, and you can grow tired of them. If you're doing them every single night, they can wear you out. Whereas with webinars, I mean, seriously, to take an hour and a half out of my time, sit in a room, go back out there, grab a sandwich, watch some Netflix or something like that. It's really not that big of a deal. And here's the deal. The longer you can stick in this industry, the higher your chance of success. If you can stick with this industry, the higher your chance of success. So whatever you're doing, don't burn yourself out. Don't let yourself get burnt out. And I believe mixing up home meetings, hotel meetings, events, along with webinars is your best approach. Now, I kind of talked about this, but this training assumes you do not have a large MLM team. Now, I've seen a million times, and see, I always try to put myself in the shoes of the person that's watching. You know, recently at an event, I saw one of the speakers say, "Okay, guys, be honest. How many people in here are making more than $10,000 a month?" And you know, myself and I think maybe one or two other people raised their hand. And then they said, "Okay, how many people are making $1,000 a month?" There was like one or two more hands. How many people are making $500 a month? I think there's one hand. How many people are making less than $100 a month? 98% of the room raised their hand. And so if I understand that the majority of people that are in training, that are watching things, aren't making that huge amount of money, then why wouldn't I speak from that viewpoint? And so I'm speaking not from my viewpoint. I have a large team. I can get people on webinars pretty easily. However, most of you on here may not be able to yet. And that's the big thing, yet. Okay? So if you do have a huge team, some of this may or may not directly apply. And I think, you know, I went back through this a couple times just to kind of, you know, give it that litmus test. There's very, very little stuff in here that I would say, okay, don't do this if you have a huge team. But this is definitely catered to that person that doesn't have a huge MLM team yet. And some of you on here are just on here to learn how to sell information products or training from webinars. We'll talk about that. You'll get what you want. All right, so all webinars, get interaction early. If you notice, before I even started the recording, I said, "How are you guys doing? Can you hear me? What city are you from?" We had a little chit chat. You know, warm it up. You don't just speak at the at the attendees. Get some interaction from them. All right, you know, let them loosen up a little bit. Let them know this is a conversive type thing. I like doing question and answer at the end if it's something that I'm recording, which is almost everything I do. Early on, I kept forgetting to record, and my coach kept yelling at me, and finally I got it through my head to record everything. Here are the expectations. You know, some of you, I heard what your expectations were. What is it that you would want in a webinar that taught you how to sell in webinars? What are the expectations? And I'll tell you, a lot of people said, "I just want to know how to run a webinar." And so, hey, I heard you. And, you know, and during the question and answer, we're also going to hear, you know, what else. If there's anything in here that you feel you need a little bit more information on, we'll certainly talk about that. Record. I use ScreenFlow. I'm on a Mac. I use ScreenFlow. I believe ScreenFlow, when I bought it, was $99 for a lifetime license. That's ridiculously cheap. I've made tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars from recordings I've done through ScreenFlow. If you're not on Mac, if you're on PC, get Camtasia. All right, well, let's say you can't do either of those. Let's say you can't figure them out or whatever. At least audio record your stuff. You can get an audio recorder at like Office Depot for like $40, or you can get the high-end stuff. You know, we just bought one. In fact, if you want to know the one that we just bought, I had my good friend and an assistant, Thomas. He actually researched. He's a brilliant when it comes to finding deals and finding the right fit for what we need. And so he found a really kick butt audio recorder that I'm going to use mainly at events. And if you want that, just shoot me or him an email. He'll share with you what it was, because he said it was like a killer deal, and he got it on Amazon. So if you need an audio recorder, you can definitely send that to him. You want to suggest where for the person to go afterward for maximum help, and this is for network marketing webinars. It's also for your training webinars. And I'm gonna talk more specifically on both of those, not right now actually. And so let me share with you how to actually set up a webinar. And this is, yet again, I've never seen anyone do this. Some of you, I fully realize this is going to be a little bit of a repeat there. All right, let's go here. All right, so let me just log in. I'm going to log into my GoToMeeting. Okay. And by the way, if you're worried about what I'm doing here, this is being recorded. You will get a recording of this. All right, so I'm going to log in. Okay, so you see over here, you got meetings, you have webinars. Okay, so I'm going to go to my webinars, and I'm going to create schedule a webinar. That's simple, right? Now, if, webinar name, now some of you are very focused on building a network marketing company. And you, in all of your marketing, it's the one trick pony, okay? So it would be, join the challenge, right? Or got gold and silver, right? It'd be something like that. And so my suggestion to you is, unless you have a large team, to be a little bit more attractive in the marketing of your webinar. Okay. Again, this is the difference between someone with a large team, someone without. When you have a large team, you can brand your company all day long, because here's why. You have teammates that are also going to help you promote. They're going to get people on there. They're excited. You're a leader. They want you to promote. However, in the beginning, you're just trying to get butts in the seats. You're trying to get people there. So let's do something a little bit more attractive. So it could be one of my favorites, and this is something that I've done. In fact, if you want a recording of how exactly I've done it, just shoot us an email. But this is how to pick a home business that is right for you. Okay? How to pick a home business that is right for you. Now, that is more attractive, actually. That's more attractive than, drink my shaky shake or juicy juice or soap or whatever, right? That's more attractive because there are legitimate people saying, okay, there's so many darn options with home businesses. Which one do I choose? Here's a webinar that teaches me how to pick a home-based business. Okay, so it could be like that. It could be how to make an additional $2,500 from home this month. Okay, it could be how to make money using Facebook part-time. Now, keep in mind, these are all titles that you could use on a network marketing presentation, and I'm gonna share with you how to do that, or you could use it on a training webinar. You could use either, right? And it's just using more, attraction marketing, really. You might get people that would jump on this, how to make money using Facebook part-time, that would never jump on a company webinar because they don't want to hear about the company. I'm telling you, there are way more people looking for training than they are a new company. Happens all the time. Okay, so you'd have a little description in here. Maybe you would have your bullets. In this webinar, you will learn how not to lose money with advertising, how not to how not to annoy your friends. I'm just making this stuff up, guys, but I'm just trying to give an example. So give a few different bullets of what you're going to cover. Now, pay really close attention to the date and time. Okay, maybe it's just me and there's something like off or something, right? But I would say at least 100 times I've scheduled a webinar in GoToMeeting just to realize I picked the wrong date. And so, you click here, make sure, see, by default it's at March 7th. Okay, we're in February, so, we would want to pick, whenever, all right? And I would, err on the optimistic side of shortness. Like, for example, if you are going to run a presentation, it would be much smarter for you to say, I'm going to start at 9 p.m. and go to 9:30 p.m. than if you said, oops, hold on, 9:30 9:30. Okay, it would be much smarter for you to say that than if you thought, you know what, this thing may run 2 hours. Let me put 11 p.m. Okay, I'm sharing this with you. I know it's basic. I know it's really basic, but I see a lot of people make mistakes with the basic stuff. So let's just say we're going to put it back to 9:30 p.m. Okay, so we hit schedule webinar. We filled this out. Let's see. All right, so we're going down here. We're going to accept all that. We're not going to require a password, and we're just going to hit save and continue. All right, now it's going to say no logo is currently uploaded. All right, I would suggest always having a logo. So if you click upload logo, it's going to tell you browse for select an image, can be up to 400 by 200 pixels in size. Now, some of you are technology driven and you know what to do here. Most are not. So let me share with you exactly what I do. So let's say that we were going to run a webinar on make money on Facebook, right? So I might type in, I might go to Google and type in cash, okay? Then I look for images. Okay, and then you got all these different pictures of cash. Well, if you remember, let's go back to here, or is it here? Yeah, it's right here. If you go back to here, what size does it have to be? It has to be up to 400 by 200. Well, let me show you a neat feature in Google that some of you I'm sure know and some may not. You can go over here to any size and click exactly 400 by 200 and hit search. And look at that. So see, I could now go here, right click, I could save. Okay, and I could just do it right there. There it is. Can close that. Go back here, upload logo, and then I can go and find it. Okay, so there it is, Cash Getty, upload logo. And there you go. So now I have, their suggested size. It's got cash on it. Is that the perfect image? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just showing you how you can get a whole bunch of images. By the way, I would be very careful if you use the method I just shared with you to get your blog images, because there are copyrighted, copywritten or whatever you want to say images, and you can't get in trouble. On a webinar, I think you're okay. I don't think people are going to come after you or anything like that. And so we got our logo. You might even, if you're fancy schmance, which I'm not, I have no idea how to write text on this image. No clue. Okay, so, but if you're fancy schmance, all right, you can take this image, put it into something, PowerPoint even, and write some text over top of it and have it in there, or just use an image like that. And so you got these little setups here. And again, some of you are like, oh my God, does it get more advanced? The answer is yes, it does. All right, so you come down here, you show them a welcome message. Here you can upload presenter image. That's up to you. A lot of times I don't, but you certainly can. Not a big deal. Now, this is all your different information. If you plan, maybe you've charged a lot for a webinar, or maybe you have information that you like to mail out. Personally, I like to keep my costs down, but that doesn't mean if you have a really good brochure or pamphlet or DVD, CD, whatever, ask them for their address information. In fact, I would suggest to you that when you're starting out, it would be better to err on the side of gaining information than ignoring information. I don't typically ask for all this stuff, so I click clear all and just get this, the basic stuff, but, that's okay. Now, let me share with you, okay? I'm about to share with you a very, very powerful marketing suggestion. Please pay attention to this thing, okay? Because this is pretty good. All right, you ready for this? So, let's say that we're running this presentation. By the way, I'm not teaching you anything about Facebook, but we're just on this theme, okay? We're on this theme of learning how to make money on Facebook. So what if I did this? What is your number one question regarding Facebook? Okay. If you ever want to become a very, very highly paid speaker, trainer, presenter, professional, etc., immerse yourself in one topic and become very, very good at it. And so follow me here. Okay. What is your number one question regarding Facebook? And so what are people going to ask you? Are they going to be honest with you? Or are they going to lie to you? They're going to be honest. They're going to tell you what their number one question is regarding Facebook. They're going to tell you. Well, guess what? If you want to get some more traffic from the search engines, if they're going to tell you their number one question, do you think that might be people Googling that same question? And so, especially when you're starting out, ask them a question right here, and it will give you the titles of future blogs and articles and videos. All right, I just want to do a little test here. Hold on. I'm gonna put everyone's hand down. Raise your hand if that's a pretty good suggestion. That's good stuff. Do you understand how that works? If you can get people to tell you their number one question regarding what you train on, do you think you can create products around that? Do you think that you could create webinars around that? Absolutely. You see, the reason that my blog gets so much traffic, one of the reasons is I'm in people's heads. I know what's going on because I've asked them questions. I've been on the phone 1 billion times. I've been on 1 million three-way calls, and I pay attention. I pay attention. If I hear a recurring theme, my prophet ears perk up, and I say, ooh, there's a lot of people asking this question, or there's a lot of people struggling with this. Why do you think I'm even doing this webinar? Where did I sell it? Because I know there's a lot of people that have questions regarding this topic. And so, I could have very easily, what is your number one question regarding selling on webinars? All right, would have been smart, right? I should have. I like to think that I kind of know and I cover it in this presentation, but in your Q&A, you may perk up my prophet ears and I say, ooh, I didn't realize people had questions about that. And then I use that to create future products or training or whatever, right? And so you really want to pay attention to what questions people have. Now, you could do this with a free webinar that you run. You could do it, and by the way, I've ran 1 billion free webinars. There's actually only been a few webinars that I charge a lot of money for. Majority of them have been, more inexpensive things that we can get a whole bunch of people on. And that's cool. All right. And so we can say, so let's say we're good with all this. Number one question, we create, it goes down there. Okay. And we save and email the invitation. Okay. And so what would happen, or what did happen just there, was GoToMeeting sent me an email with the registration link. But if you need it, you would just go over here and you could copy it right there. Okay. Now, obviously, if you were selling it, you could use PayPal, or some of you maybe you have a merchant account. I use PayPal for a lot of things. If it's quick, simple, easy, I'll just use PayPal. But I do have a merchant account. But you have the link right there. If you're marketing it just to get as many people on there for free, you would market the heck out of it, right? Share it with whoever you want. That's the link that you would use. And so that, I'm going to go back to my presentation, but I don't want to assume that everyone on here has created a little webinar like that. This is very simple, very easy to do, but I just wanted to show you because I don't want to start this thing off, and you guys be lost. All right, so let's go back to our presentation. All right, so all right, I showed you how to set up a webinar. All right, so running network marketing webinars. My God, I took a long time on that, didn't I? Jeez. All right, well, I hope you guys are getting it. All right, so running MLM webinars. Keep them interesting. For maximum attendees, start with a training, how to evaluate a home business. I talked about this, how to make money on Facebook. Make it more conversing than simply presenting information. Too many network marketers, It is like they're coming into the boardroom and they're making a proposal. Okay? This is why you should pick our company. All right? That's not good. That's not good. Make it conversing. Talk about story. Tell stories. I would highly suggest, I swear this guy should pay me. I have probably sold thousands of his books. But there's a great book out there called Life is a Series of Presentations. And what it does is it teaches you to observe life, to observe what's going on around you, to observe the input that you're receiving every single day, and then say, okay, how can I use that in a presentation? How can I use that in a speech? How can I use that? And you can, by the way, that book could also be titled Life is a Series of Blogs, because you can do the same exact thing with blogs as you can presentations. Rat race story. This is something that almost, like since I heard this story, I say it on almost every webinar I ever do. I have a good friend, and I mean this, I love him to death, and this is somebody, it's a good story, but then it kind of punches you in the face. And my buddy, 2.5 years ago, was just like me. He was struggling. He had been beat up pretty good with the market, with the economy and everything. And this is a guy who had done really, really well, and he was waiting tables at Outback. All right. So life had been tough. And he had started with this technical consulting company here in town. It's actually a very, very big corporation. I won't say the name of it, but it is a very big consulting organization. So they sell consulting. And last year, he came back. It's actually similar stories. I was dead broke. I was able to, make some money, get things turned around, and change my life. Well, him too. He became the #1 salesperson in his niche in the world for that company. There were 1,400 other salespeople around the globe. He was #1. So last year, making almost $200,000, right? Dude, that's success. Fantastic. It's awesome. Well, here's what happened. This year, they raised his quota by 20%. They reduced his income by $20,000. And that's when he realized he's in a rat race. Now he has to work harder than he's ever worked before to make less than he made last year. And by the way, if he doesn't hit it, he risks being fired. Boy, that's enjoyable. But you see, I tell that story because so many people resonate with it. So many people. This works. Telling stories works. And, I'm not saying you have to make them up. There's enough great stories around there that you can use. By the way, you can use the story I just shared with you. You can say, listen, I have a friend that he was telling me about his buddy that worked for a corporation, he did really well, and then they raised his da-da-da-da. Almost any salesperson in any industry right now can resonate with that. Last night I shared this story, guy joined right away. He joined right on the spot. He's like, dude, when you said that, I realized that's exactly where I'm at. And he works for a company called Truly Nolan, which is like a pest control kind of deal. He was making really good money. They split up territories. They changed this and that. And all of a sudden, he's making a whole lot less, and he's working really hard. And he now, with such a high quota, runs the risk of being fired and let go. People can resonate with that. You got to tell that story. Okay, so much, much more of telling of stories than presenting in front of the board. This is why our comp plan is the best, and our product is awesome. People don't care. They don't want to hear that crap. So, by the way, this right here, I shared with you that I would give you some different things that you could write an article about, video about. This right here, if you did like a screen capture or took a picture of the screen or something like this, this could be a really good blog post. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to go ahead and write a blog post on every one that I suggest to you guys, just so you see how I'm doing it. All right. So before you have results, let's say you're a newbie. And I told you this webinar is really designed for you. Talk about what you're learning. People love learning. Our industry is addicted to it. So talk about the training that your team does. There's little things. Last night, like here, let me give you a fantastic statement. Last night, our team training was on X. Last week, our team training was on X, and they taught us how to do X, right? Talk about that. You want to talk about those kind of things, and hopefully you do have some kind of team training where people are, giving you, that kind of jazz. For example, if you're learning how to get leads from Facebook, talk about that. Like if you notice, when I started, I talked about, some of my actual, results over the last 2.5 years. Well, you're not going to be able to start webinars like that if you haven't had success yet. And so talk about the things that you've been learning. People love that stuff, and use little, they call them open loops. Okay. Open loops is where you're talking about, last night in our team training, I learned the 3 things you should never post as a status on Facebook. Well, what 3 things are though? Or, what is he talking about? What's she talking about? You see, raise some curiosity there. You can actually talk about that in your results. It is something that you learned. Okay. And so, also talk about how, when you're running your network marketing presentation, talk about if you're the one running it. And by the way, it's always the case. The person with the clicker or the marker or running the webinar is the person that's going to be making the most money. And so if we take on the habits of leaders, we'll start running webinars. We'll start holding the marker, drawing the circles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you can use this both in network marketing and training product webinars. And, let me share with you one thing people struggle with. Well, Ray, what gives me the right to run a webinar because I don't have any credibility? Well, if you think like that, you'll never do anything. It's like a vicious cycle, right? And so what you have to think about is, can you train people that know even less than you? And the answer is yes. Okay. Can you help people that know less than you? I'll tell you right now, I enrolled a new person into actually 2 new people into my company today, and I called them and I said, hey, actually this, the one was a lead, and I called him and he said, wow, I can't believe you're calling me. I'm like, well, not only that, but when you join, you get 4 weeks of personal one-on-one coaching. He's like, oh my God. And he told me, he said, man, I've joined like 4 companies in the last 2 years. Not one time has the person I enrolled with called me. I'm like, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. But you see, if that is going on, can't you be better? Can't you be better? Do you think, and some of you may even be on this webinar, but do you think that there are people out there sick and freaking tired of not getting any attention? Well, guess what? Before you have a network marketing team, could you give them all the love and attention that they possibly desire? Yeah. You could spend time with them, showing them the ropes, teaching them what to do. And so don't forget that you have uniqueness. If you don't have a large team, you have uniqueness. You have the power of time and intimacy. So don't forget about that. And that, by the way, that can be used in both network marketing and training product webinars. Another good blog post there. Your story. Be relatable. Were you hurt by the economy? You're tired of the rat race? You want to spend more time traveling or with family or with both? Why you joined your company? Because of the 4 pillars. Talk about those different things. What you don't talk about is, don't just talk about, your product. Don't just talk about your compensation plan. Have people relate to you. If you were a computer programmer, talk about that. If you were a corporate attorney, if you were a project manager, talk about that. Talk about the pain that you either had or have. Talk about that, because guess what? People watching your presentation have the same kind of pain. We all hurt the same kind of way. Talk about that. Talk about that a lot more. So often, and I wouldn't even say this stuff if I didn't see mistakes right here every single day. Talk about the elephant in the room. All right? And this is, man, this is so huge. I see network marketers that they know what the big objection is about their company. Okay? They know. And they hope like hell they don't get it. They hope that they just skip right past it. And here's how you can determine. If you're on here and you're in a network marketing company and you're thinking, you're scratching your head thinking, oh, I don't know what the elephant in the room is. Well, talk to other reps, talk to your upline. Most of them, hopefully will be willing to answer, and ask them, what are the most frequently asked questions or what are the most frequently asked objections about our company, about our product, about our compensation plan? And I can tell you, to get, I guess I'll get semi-specific. I've had people that said, when they hear, those that join my network marketing company, they ask, well, Ray, isn't that a binary? Okay, and I'll say, well, yeah, but, historically, binaries only pay on the lesser leg. We have 15 ways you get paid, 14 of which pay on both legs. And so I address that. So if I'm speaking to existing network marketers, I know that some of them in the past have been turned off by a binary. And I know the exact reason why. It's because they only pay on the pay leg. Well, our company pays 14 different ways on both legs. And so I say that. But you see, most people, they're not taught that. They're taught to just breeze right past it and not deal with it. For example, if you're in health and wellness, some of you I know are in different, juice, shakes, whatever, right? Play devil's advocate and use yourself as the initial skeptic. This bullet is so powerful. It's so powerful. And not just health and wellness, but always, we could actually, you could block out that first line and just say, play devil's advocate and use yourself as an initial skeptic. Let me give you an example. Let's say, and I'm not, but let's say I was in a weight loss, network marketing company, which I'm not. Okay, I'm not. But let's say I was. All right. I would, if I was doing a presentation, I would say, hey guys, I don't know about you, but when I heard this was about weight loss, I thought, oh my God, not another one. I have seen 4,500 different weight loss things. Ask me about how to lose weight. I'm at Costco. There's literally 3 aisles dedicated to weight loss. I watch Maury Povich and Dr. Oz, and every day they're talking about a grapefruit diet, a soup diet, a this diet, a that diet. I couldn't even imagine getting involved with something that involved weight loss. My God. But here's why I did. Okay? You see how that works? If I was doing that, I would have 90% of the prospects nodding their head saying, yeah, who the hell would do that? Yeah. I would have 90% of them nodding their head, and then I would say, but here's why. And, they did studies, kind of weird studies if you ask me, but the word because is very powerful. And they did these studies, like there was a big long line to the water fountain, and there was a big long line to the fax machine, and they did tests where they would send people in, and someone said, hey, do you mind if I cut in line? And majority of them, no thanks, you can't. Okay? Now a certain percentage just let people in, right? But when they used the word because, it had a much higher chance of success. And it almost didn't matter what was after because. Okay? So you can play devil's advocate. And this is some advanced sailing right here. I understand. That's why I'm taking my time with it. Play devil's advocate. Use yourself as the initial skeptic. Address the elephant in the room. Okay? I don't know about you, but I wasn't sure. Are these coins overpriced? Shouldn't I buy bullion? Shouldn't I do this and that? But I joined because of this. And then you state your case. Okay? So you have everybody paying attention. Everyone's like, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, what's he talking about? And then you say that word because. Now you got them more on your side of the field. Is that powerful, guys? Do you get that, guys? I keep saying guys. I always say that. I mean guys and girls, right? I hope you get that. Very, very powerful sales technique. By the way, and this is just a side note here, but do you think it'd be smart if you took the time to find out all the frequently asked objections or questions about your company? Would that make sense to have that in a webinar recording for your team members when you get them on board. Do you know why most people quit in network marketing? Especially the ones that quit within their first 90 days. Do you know why? Because they get blown out of the water. They get blown out of the water and they're hit with a question that you didn't teach them how to answer. They're hit with an objection that they didn't anticipate because you didn't tell them to anticipate it. In my fast start training for my company, the very first beginning of it, I talk about, here's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear this and that. You're going to have people try to steal your dreams. You're going to have people say, it might be a pyramid. I say all these things. Why? Because I don't want them to get blown out of the water. I don't want them to be surprise attacked. All right? That'd be a good blog post. That's your number 3 one. All right, the best presenters for network marketing. They're so simple. It's so easy to tell. And I've been able to see presenters that make well over $100,000 a month in network marketing. I've seen presenters making over $400,000 a month. Let's see. No, I have seen a presenter live and in person that makes over $1 million a month in network marketing. Guess what? They all do the same thing. They sell you on the idea that you can do it versus sell you the company, the comp plan, the product, etc. They talk about their past failures. They talk about misunderstanding of the company, product, the comp plan. They talk about how the end goal is not for you just to want to buy it, but to believe that you can do it. I remember there was a very just a fantastic presenter in my very first company, and he used to say, when I first started, I couldn't even pronounce the product, and he mispronounces it, and everyone laughs. And what's the goal? The goal is for everyone to think, my God, if that idiot can do it, I can do it. Well, there's wisdom in that. There's a lot of wisdom in that, because we are not just, this is not just about selling cars, okay? What's the difference between selling cars and someone in network marketing? Well, if I'm selling you a car, I'm selling you a car. I'm not teaching you to sell cars. I'm just selling you a car. But in network marketing, we're selling them on the idea that they can do it. And that is the sales process, not, hey, how fantastic it is, because people don't care. So stop pushing so hard to get people excited about the product comp plan. They just don't care. They only care if they can do it. Okay? MLM close. Speak to all types. Here's a little bit of language for you. And this is something that you could very easily, with some practice, you can close out all of your webinars. Okay? Again, we're talking about the network marketing side, but it would actually work as well on the training side. If you like what you see, if it sounds good, if you like the idea of working hand in hand with us, etc. See, that talks about the visual, talks about the auditory, talks about the kinesthetic. Okay? Talk to people how they want to be talked to. If you like what you see, if it just sounds right, if you like the idea of getting your hand held, walking hand in hand with us to the ladder of success, right? Talk to them in those kind of language patterns. Try to cover all your bases there. Give a reason to buy sooner than later. Very few network marketing companies do this. Very few network marketing trainers do it. They say, hey, if you like the fit of this, then join us. We'd love to have you. Give them a reason. Give them some kind of bonus. By the way, if you join before midnight tomorrow, you get X. Okay? Seriously. Give them something. Give them some kind of reason. People buy, the two main things that get people to buy things is urgency and scarcity. Hey, the first 5 people that buy, you get this additional box of shakes, right? You get a business card. You get coaching. You get whatever. Give people a reason to buy sooner than later. Once you even have one teammate, start when you're on your webinars, instruct them, instruct the prospects, instruct everyone on the webinar to get back with the person that invited them. Okay? Immediately. So let me just run an example so everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Let's say you have no one you have ever sponsored in network marketing. Well, run a webinar, and let's say you get one person to join. And you get that person to join because you told them that you would give them, coaching, that you would show them how to do Facebook pay-per-click, that you would whatever you've used to give them incentive. All right, the next webinar you do, you're going to get on the phone with that one teammate and say, listen, teammate, I'm going to do this webinar. I want you to promote it as well because I'm going to tell everyone on there to get back with the person that invited them. Okay? You do that when you have one teammate, when you have two teammates, when you have three teammates. All of a sudden, you can start to run pretty big webinars. And here's what's powerful. You don't know who's going to bring who. But if you're doing it in that manner, it's no longer just you recruiting for yourself. It's you helping the team. Offer an intimacy bonus, especially for those of you who haven't had a huge level of success yet. So offer coaching, offer one-on-one, offer that sort of thing. People will pay big money for intimacy. Understand that, for one-on-one. So few people seem to get this in our industry. They'll pay big money for it. And here's one that I've used only 1 million times. Have a members-only training immediately after the opportunity presentation, and it's a red-hot one that only members can attend. Some of you on here are members of my company. You've seen me do this 1 million times. I run a webinar at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then I run a members-only training at 9 o'clock. And what do I talk about on the 8 o'clock opportunity meeting? I talk about how the 9 o'clock training is one of the best, the biggest, the baddest, the freshest, the red-hot way to get leads, get traffic, to get amazing energy, whatever, right? And so everybody watching that 8 o'clock thinks, damn, I got to get on that 9 o'clock training. I've had people join just for the training. I got to get on that training, right? That's a killer way. Now, could you do that at an event, a physical event? Well, I can tell you it's a little bit weirder. And here's why. You could say, okay, guys, we finished up our opportunity meeting and we're going to roll into a training. By the way, if you're not a member, you're going to have to leave. See, that seems a little rude because someone spent gasoline, they drove there, they're spending their time. It's a little rude. It's a little, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with it, right? And you're going to have some people say, well, I want to see the training and see if this is a fit for me. You're going to have that. But with a webinar, you have a separate link that only members get. You have a separate link, and they get it. And you just tell them, hey, by the way, if you join tonight, if you sign up into our company tonight, you're going to get a link that gets you into our members-only training. If you don't, hey, that's fine. You don't get it. You don't get the training if you don't join tonight. Okay? That is powerful right there. I tested that out about 2 years ago, and it works so darn good. I've done it almost every single week for 2 years, and it works. So why not do it? Some presentation. We are about to transition into talking about some information products, and I wanted to be really thorough on this, so we're going into the midnight oil already. I want you to make sure you write down any question you may have regarding exploring your network marketing business, just so you don't forget them, because we're going to get into a little bit of information product training. So here we go. All right. So profitable training webinars, you got to start building a list. If you want to get people on webinars and you're wanting to sell training, and let me be very, very clear here, because I don't want no misunderstandings or whatever. If you want to make additional income by being a trainer, by being a speaker, you are going to have to start building a list, because you're going to have people that love your stuff. And if you don't know them, you will lose a lot of money. You're just going to lose a lot of income. Start building a list. The most popular is Aweber, rayhiggins.com/Aweber. I'm actually in the process of migrating to Infusionsoft, which is very expensive. We already have multiple headaches. I mean, the thing's $2,000 just to set up. Ridiculous, right? That's why I love network marketing. It's so freaking low overhead. When you get into training like I'm talking about here, you're spending more money without a doubt, all right? You want to get good at email marketing for highest attendance, because until you have an affiliate program by buying one shopping cart or Infusionsoft, no one's going to market these for you. No one's going to do it. If you're selling your own training, no one's going to market this for you. It's going to be all you. Okay? Another thing that I like about network marketing is you can get your teammates to do it. Make sure you record. Make sure you record. Now, some of you are thinking, well, Ray, No one even likes my trainings. No one's attending them. Why should I bother recording? I want you to think about this. Let's project. Let's say that in 10 years, you're one of the most in-demand trainers of all time. Okay? Would it be beneficial for you to have recordings of 10 years worth of your life work that you can sell as bonuses, that you can sell in addition to things? Oh, I'm telling you. You know, when I paid the first coach that I paid over $10,000 for, first coach I paid over $10,000, he hammered this into me. Hammered it, hammered it, hammered it, hammered it, hammered it. And if I didn't do one, he hammered me. He's like, what is wrong with you? You've got to record these webinars. And here's the thing. You won't know when you have your best webinar. There's going to be one day that you had the perfect combination of protein and Red Bull or vitamin E and whatever, and you're just on fire. You're just rocking it. And if you don't record that, you may never get that energy back. You may have shared a little nugget that you never shared anywhere else. Okay? Record. Make sure you record these. Those who buy the most, by the way, if you want to sell a lot of training, buy training. You buy training to learn, but also to get your money back by teaching. I can tell you this, I'm picky with what I buy. I am. I don't buy just everything. You know, I don't buy from every single speaker or whatever. I'm pretty picky. It has to be someone I respect. It has to be someone that has some results in their life that I look up to. But when I buy, when I pull the trigger and I buy, and I pull out the credit card, I am pulling that out with the full knowledge I'm going to get my money back. Now, I don't mean a refund, because that is bad energy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I am going to watch this webinar that I just bought, or I'm going to read the ebook I just bought, I'm going to attend the event that I just bought, and I'm going to glean from that something that I can sell. Either that I can use in my business to make more profit, which is the more straightforward approach, I guess, but also, what is it that I can sell? You know, what is it that I can take from this that most people don't know, put it together in a little package, like a little mini webinar or an ebook, and sell? I like what, how many of you guys are familiar with Brendon Burchard? Are you familiar with this guy, the Millionaire Messenger? I love what he says. I just recently, like 2 weeks ago, I watched one of his videos, and he says you got to be like a reporter. If you want to become an expert in your industry, you got to become like a reporter. And he asked the question, he says, well, how many of you would buy a house from someone who has never bought a house? Or how many of you would buy, you know, investment advice from someone who's never invested? And most people will be like, well, no way. Well, what if that person had bought all the intelligence and data of how to invest and had all the cutting edge knowledge at their fingertips? Now what would your answer be? You would buy from that person. Whether they've done it or not, you would buy from that person. If they had all the up-to-date, most fantastic information, you'd buy from them. You would. And then you would take that information, and so if you become like a reporter, rather than just a consumer, I see so many people that they'll buy a webinar, they buy this or that, they join a company, get coaching, get training, whatever, and they just consume it. It's just consumption. What do I get out of this? No. Take what you learn, and you can create that into information products that people want to buy. Yeah, like I said, every product I buy, I then sell some of what I learned. One of my most profitable buys, and I'm sure that some of you, have bought this, but I learned from my man Hoverson. Now, before, oh, this is funny. Before you go out and buy the Hoverson stuff and everything, before you do that, understand that you have to manage your time. If you don't manage your time, you won't make any money. I am awesome at managing my time. So I'm blending the right amount of time learning, the right amount of time creating training, the right amount of time blogging, and the right amount of time prospecting and recruiting. I manage that time. And if you struggle with time management, I would suggest you can go to Google. Actually, write this down. Don't go to Google right now because then you'll be distracted. But when you go to Google after this webinar sometime or tomorrow, go to Google, type in Ray Higdon routine, Google it, read my 3 blogs on having a routine and how important they are. But, just be very careful, because once you go down this path, you can really get distracted. All right, so you got to manage your time. And I'll tell you, a lot of big network marketing leaders would never suggest you learn this stuff because they feel it's not duplicatable. I personally feel that the more educated, the smarter that people are, the better they can do if they manage their time. So always, if you are going to sell information products, always have some sort of upsell. And guess what? You might not sell it. That's okay. I remember when I spoke at No Excuses 2 weeks out, I did not have anything that I was going to sell. And they said, listen, you get a breakout room, sell something. Go ahead. And I thought, nah, I don't want to sell anything. And then I talked to a couple people, and they're like, dude, people love your stuff. You should sell something, sell training, sell coaching, sell something. And so I thought about it, and I thought, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a really exclusive package that I'm going to sell. Real exclusive package. If I sell it, great. If I don't, that's okay. And so what I did at No Excuses 2, and I don't know if any of you on here were at that event, I did this breakout session. I did 1 full hour. I had 200, maybe 250 people in the room, standing room only. People were sitting like at my feet because the room was so packed. It was crazy. And, I just answered questions. I said, and I answered, Ray, what do you do for duplication and retention? Boom, I would answer it. Ray, what do you do if someone says this? Boom, I would answer it. And so I did this for well over an hour. And then at the very end, I said, by the way, guys, if you like this training, if you'd like to spend some time with me, I have a mastermind retreat. It's really expensive. That's what I said. I said it's really expensive. Now, what is that? That's the elephant in the room, because it was really expensive. It was $9,000, actually $8,995, to come spend 2 days with me at my house, hang out here, breakfast, lunch, dinner, here at my house, and we just spend time together. And I said, I didn't know if anyone would buy, and if they didn't, hey, whatever. But I had 2 people buy. So in an hour and 90 minutes, $18,000, in income. And by the way, it was just kind of an interesting side note. That was more than I made in the year 2009. $18,000. That was more in that hour and a half than I made in the entire year in 2009. And so it goes to show that if you're watching this and you haven't had major success, in 12 to 24 months, you can completely turn that around if you stay focused. And so here's my point. Have an upsell. Let's say that you've seen my model here and you're thinking, you know what? I could sell a $29 webinar. That'd be cool. I think I could get a few people to buy. Well, great. Well, on that $29 webinar, have some kind of upsell. Have some kind of coaching. Have them, offer them, if they join your team, you give them something. Have something. And if you strike out, you go back in. But here's what you don't want to happen. And what happens to most people? Most people, they do that one thing, that one webinar, that one ebook or whatever, and they don't have anything else. And so the people that attended their webinar, they go away. They go find someone else that's going to fulfill their training needs. And so just understand that and pay attention to that. Understand that no one webinar will ever change somebody's life. They need long-term assistance, not just a 1-hour webinar. If you got to believe in your product and value before you attempt to sell it, and you have to, hey, this is a big deal. If you're out there and you're planning on creating training, would you buy it? Would you buy it? Especially, like, let's take this for example. 2 years ago, I was clueless at running webinars. Absolutely clueless. Would I buy this webinar that I'm running right now? My God. I absolutely. It would have helped me get to where I am so much faster. You have to do that same evaluation on your training. Would you buy it? Dig deep into it. Would you buy it if you didn't know what you knew now? And that would be, that's a great blog post right there. So, remember I said to record? Well, here's one reason. You can slice and dice it. You can slice and dice. You can have webinar recordings. For example, on the 21st, No Excuses is opening up. And let me tell you, I have so many ridiculous bonuses. My bonuses that I'm going to give to people that buy through my link, the bonuses I give are so much more valuable than the price they're paying for the ticket. If they literally bought it and crumbled up the ticket and threw it in the trash can, they still got a good deal. And so you can do that. Anything, any training, if you've been recording, you can put that into a set of bonuses. And again, we're on the information, product kind of side here. Transcription services. I've used Verbal Ink. Like I took my 4-part series on blogging, had it transcribed. Why? Some people like reading. Some people would like a little handheld, book to read while they go along. Does that mean that I wrote it? No. I recorded it. And then I sent that recording to Verbal Ink. They transcribed it. See how that works? So did I write it and then record it? No, I recorded it. They transcribed it. Very powerful. And you can use a handbook. You can use transcriptions, a recording, the PowerPoint. Give away the PowerPoint. There's so many different avenues of profit if you've recorded it. You can have, here's the PowerPoint download. Here's the audio. Here's an MP3 for you to listen to on your phone. Here's the, the transcription. Here's the, the full text of the entire presentation. You can slice and dice it. You can use these bonuses to win affiliate contests, bribe people to join your network marketing company, and this would be a great blog post for you too. And so, if you just set and said, okay, each night I'm going to do some type of recording, I'm going to do some kind of webinar, invite as many people as possible. By the way, no one knows, unless you actually show it in the screen, which I a lot of times do. You don't have to, though. See, no one, if you're showing a recording and you never show the number of attendees, no one knows if you have 2 people on there, if only mom is on there, or if you have 500 people on there. So, and then you record it, you can use those bonuses to say, hey, if you buy through my link, you get this. Or if you join my company, you get all of these different recordings. Have at it. So, real quick, I just created a little sheet here. Information products, you are going to have higher costs. You're going to have to keep going out there and learning and buying stuff. It is more work, and here's why. Especially if you do anything technology. Like my good friend Michelle, she sold her Facebook PPC course. Well, guess what? There are already some changes that she's going to have to manufacture and change in that product. That means she has to keep working. Next year, she'll probably have something else hot. It'll be, Facebook 3.0 or 10.0 or whatever. But you have to keep inventing new training. That is work, not residual. All right. It does have the nice upfront commissions. With network marketing, you can get easier recognition. And this is what I mean. If you go out with any good network marketing company and you produce, you get signups, you win a contest, whatever, you can get pretty easy recognition from your company. They love that stuff. Your upline should give you a recognition. It works. Okay, it is easier to do that. It is the lowest overhead. With a network marketing company, you don't need an autoresponder. You don't need, a shopping cart. You don't need to have the latest, greatest training necessarily, because hopefully your upline is giving you some fantastic training. It is a little bit slower, but you have much higher residuals, which I got into network marketing because I wanted lifestyle. Lifestyle, defined at least by me, is the money that's coming in each and every month, whether I roll over in bed or out of bed, and that's through residual income. I don't make residual income through my information products. And even if you do, if you create some kind of community, well, that's still work. With a network marketing company, you don't have that. And so I blend. I am more of a network marketer than I am an information product producer, but I do both. Okay, if you want the lowest risk, lowest overhead, highest residual, network marketing is the choice, period. Information products, you can definitely have some fun times with that, and we certainly have. All right, so I want to say thank you. Did you guys get some good stuff out of this? Awesome. Cool. I mean, I honestly, if you got one little snippet out of this, share with me the one snippet that you got. And then I'm gonna check those out here in a second. But I hope that this training did help you. Do you think that you could use some of the different tidbits and tactics in here to either get a few additional recruits or at least a few extra bucks? You think that? Well, I'm gonna have a Q&A session, okay, and I want to make sure that we're complete here. But I am gonna have a Q&A session here in a moment. So make sure if you have questions that we get to them. I do have a special incentive. And, this is something that, either pay attention or you can, not pay attention, all right? But I do have a special incentive. I'm going to take 30 seconds of your time. I'm going to announce it, and then we're going to get into the Q&A. I'm looking for current and future leaders. If you like the idea of working closer with me, until this Friday at midnight, I'm offering 4 weeks of personal one-on-one coaching for anyone that joins me in my primary company. Now, I know some of you are in my primary company. That's fantastic. And if you would like to have a mini coaching call with me, I'd be more than happy to do that. I'm happy to help you out. But anyone that is not in my primary company and wants to join, I'm going to give you 4 weeks of personal one-on-one coaching for anyone that joins me in my primary company. It's one-on-one. It's me and you. If you feel like having more private access to me would help, let's talk some more. Shoot me an email, rayhigdon@rayhigdon.com, and I'd be happy to talk to you there. By the way, if you haven't heard, right now we do have an incentive trip that if you join and you let me help you get 4 recruits, you win an all-inclusive trip to Cancun. All-inclusive, by the way, I've been to an all-inclusive trip. That means your liquor, your food, everything, snorkeling, canoeing, whatever the heck you want to do, all included. That's for recruiting 4 recruits. By the way, you have until April 29th to recruit 4. But as far as my coaching, it's until Friday at midnight. So if you are open to that, interested in that, shoot me an email. The Q&A that I'm going to cover is about running webinars. So what are your questions? Where can I help you, or where do you need clarification? So I'm going to open this up, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop the recording.